back with OG. Oldest Roof Forever. 3. Had to take a quick smoke break. Tell you what's on my mind right quick. From the cradle to the grave, from the hood to the stage, to the labels we made, from the wood to the J's, to the shootouts to the fades, from the valley to LA, to the cemeteries we laid. It's just the ways of the world that we live in. You either gave or you give in, you either slide or you slid in. What's the mission or the vision? You can see the way. Like Zap said, we gon' be alright or be okay. Anyway, just gotta tell you how I feel. Living in a world of fake shit where ain't nobody real. Yo, what's the deal? Would you still feel alive if they take your freedom from you and leave your loved ones to cry? Even though we try, it's like a struggle to survive. Just like Pac used to say, homie, we living just to die. Money comes and goes, even friends turn to foes. And that girl you thought was... Welcome everyone to the G-Lew Show. After Hours Live, I am G-Lew, and I'll be joined by my special co-host tonight, Miss Longbeach LaLa, aka Angela Davies. And tonight we have a very special guest, man. This is shout out to everyone in the chat before we get started. Monty, what's up? Jane, of course, our producer DD. Shout out to OG Steve in the Bronx, New York, and everyone tuning in across the world. We have, like I said, the most controversial interview of the year. We have a very special guest tonight. The homie, man, unfortunately has been, how can I say it? Has been sitting down for the past 25 years, I would say. Wrongly convicted. The homie has a great story, but through tragedy comes triumph. So while he's been incarcerated, wrongly convicted, he still managed to do great things. The homie has a clothing line. He's written books. He has so many things going on, and we're gonna hear about his great story tonight. So hold on, let me do this right quick so you guys can see me, right? Because you need to see what's going on here. So welcome everyone to the show. I am G-Lew. And let me do this right here. Let me bring in my co-host because she is here. Longbeach LaLa. What's up?
Thanks for having me on your show tonight.
No, thank you. It's my pleasure. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Glad you invited me as a co-host for tonight. This is a very interesting story, very sad story, I might say. Being locked down for 26 years for something that you didn't even do. That has to be hard.
Yes. So
hard not only for him, but for his family,
That's a long time. I mean, there's some people that wasn't even born then. You know what I mean? Let alone living life, doing things, so I'm sure the homie, has generations and siblings and people, just wants him to come home. And, we're all praying for the homie, and I'm sure his family has been praying for years. And we're going to try to make this happen, and we're going to hear his story tonight. So, again, shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to our sponsors, Street Level Clothing, Spider Loke, and GLewShow.com, and our producer, DD Hairston. And shout out to you, Long Beach LaLa, for making this possible and making this happen. It's been a long time in the making, and we're glad we can make it happen tonight. So, without any further ado, I thought we had the homie here. Guess he'll check back in. But Angela, if you can, give us some more insight on our guest tonight.
So actually, unfortunately, we will not have Meech himself. We're going to have Eric, who's his best friend, is going to be speaking on his behalf. He actually was a witness, to what hadn't happened. He tried to help him, get exonerated. One of the good things that's going on for him, though, is he has been picked up by the Innocence Project. So we're praying for a safe return home.
Can you speak more on the Innocence Project and what it does for people like the homie Eric?
So first of all, the Innocence Project, they have to look into situations very carefully. There's thousands of people who write into
On the
the
waiting
Innocence
list.
Project. So
Right.
for them to actually pick him up, there's a lot of credibility to his story. So Innocence Project wouldn't just pick you up for no reason. But from my understanding, there is an officer who was involved in the case, and he's one of the main ones who had him convicted. But it was found that he ended up being a corrupt cop. So now they're looking at all the cases that this officer was involved in to do, have a second look at it. And he's at the top of the list.
Okay. We just wanted more
Yeah.
insight on that Innocence program.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're having some difficulty because the homie checked in, he checked out, so maybe he's having a couple difficulties. So bear with us, people. Give us a couple minutes. But shout out to everyone out there in the chat tonight. I see. Shout out to the homegirl James. She tapped in with me. She said that she's familiar with the homie story and knows him as well. So shout out to James. Shout out to Elia Delgado. What up, Elia? Natalie Garcia. What's up? Jane said no evidence. So we're gonna get into it. So hold on. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the story. We have the homeboy here, Eric, speaking on behalf of LA Meech, right? Long Beach, LaLa.
Is he with us?
He's here. Let's bring him in.
Thank you, Eric, for speaking on his behalf. We really appreciate that.
Can you hear us?
Thank you guys for having us. Hear you underwater.
Damn, yeah, we got you in the Matrix, bro.
All right, yeah, I can hear you a little better now. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. It's just the connection is going in and out as far as your audio.
Yeah, I'm getting the same thing this year. It's like you guys going in and out.
Yeah,
it's going in and out, but we can kind of understand you a little bit.
Yeah, we can. So we go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear y'all clear now.
Okay, good. Let's kick it off then. Hey, first and foremost, tell us, Angela told us a little bit about the Innocence program, a little bit. We didn't get into the case or anything of that nature, and we do know you're speaking on behalf of the homie. Can you tell us more about the case, what or whatever you can tell us about the situation at hand and what we can do to make this, to what we can do to help. But first and foremost, break down the case and what's going on with the homie.
Okay. First of all, Meech was convicted of first-degree murder. He was charged for murder that he did not commit. There was no evidence linked to the crime. It was only one witness. I won't say her name. I don't know if it's cool to use her name or not. So we'll just say Jane Doe. Jane Doe was supposed to be the only witness to this whole situation. Come to find out, Jane Doe was in a lot of trouble with the law. So Jane Doe ended up cutting a deal with the police officers and used false testimony to convict him. Like we say, there was no evidence. There was nothing tying him to this crime. He submitted to DNA samples. It was supposed to have been a fight between two young men and another older gentleman, which the older gentleman ended up losing his life. I think he died like 3 to 4 days later, from my understanding of the case. And they came out and arrested him and charged him with murder. He'd been in the system ever since, fighting for his life.
Wow. So we go back to 1996. There was a clip on the news, and it was highly publicized. It was actually on the news, and it just seemed like it was very trumped up the way they came in and got him. There was a lot of police involvement. Could you tell us a little bit about what happened on that day or those days that led up to the actual arrest?
Yes, on I guess once they got this so-called confidential informant that witnessed everything, they was able to go to the judge and get a warrant to come out to raid different houses. The first house they raided was LaShawn Dorsey. They raided her house because the witness said that he stayed at this residence. Now, L.A. Meech never lived at this residence. His grandmother actually stayed next door to this residence, right? And there was no evidence, nothing linking him to this house, this residence, or nothing. You know, she gave him bogus information right then and there. So as they proceeded in Los Angeles on city streets with a convoy tank looking for a 20-year-old kid. I don't know if y'all had a chance to review the clip that I was able to see that we got from his attorney on that news clip. And like I say, there was no probable cause to even go into this lady's home. So they went to the car that was out in front of the house, and I assume they ran the license plates, and the car was registered to L.A. Meech house. They were right around the corner and tore her residence.
Wow.
They was all in the freezer at his mom's house. They was all in the freezer, tearing up the meat and all that stuff. Now, how can the 20-year-old boy be hiding a pack of meat? They just went through and literally destroyed the lady's house. So the neighbors and the city council, they had a problem. They launched a complaint against the police department and everything for how they came out, saying it was very unprofessional.
So do you think if it was a young 20-year-old Caucasian individual, would have gone the same way, in your opinion?
Is he
I
still
think
with us?
we might be having a little bit of difficulties on his end at the moment. We apologize for that.
Yeah, you got to understand. Yeah. So, yeah. So just bear with us, please.
This is a very interesting case. And the sad thing about it is it really could happen to anyone at any given time and just totally disrupt your life at any time.
You with us, homie?
Hello? Can y'all hear me?
Yes. We
Can you hear me? LaLa,
I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yeah. So I'm gonna
after they conducted this aggressive raid on these residents, they left some information for Meech to get in contact with these officers. So once L.A. Meech got in contact with these officers,
go ahead. We lost him again?
Yeah, sounds like a loss of signal.
Yeah, people, you got to bear with us. You got to understand, you know what we're dealing with here. So just, try to work with us under the circumstances. But as you can see already, the homie has a very, the story is man, it's real deep. Let me do this right here, Angela. Let me see.
Began searching for murder suspect Demetrius Franklin.
They can treat us any way they feel like it. They can do what they want to do when they feel like it, because nobody around here goes down there and files a complaint with them. And then when they do, you know what they do? They take it and they throw it to the side somewhere.
But this person that we were looking for has this history of use of firearms. He is a known gang member. He did commit a brutal murder. You put those factors together, and you don't just knock on the door and say, "Can we come in, please?"
Deputies never found murder suspect Demetrius Franklin. He's still at large. The sheriff's spokesperson says all department policies were followed during the raid.
We just want to play that audio right quick. That's taken from a clip, right? From when it first happened.
Yeah, that was
Angela?
in 1996.
Wow.
1996 when it first happened.
Wow.
And just imagine, you're home and you have that type of presentation coming to your home. and you have no idea, no clue what's going on, and police, are just bombarding your house like that.
Yeah. It's
And this
sad, but
innocent
yeah.
woman was shaken up, I'm assuming in the middle of the night, early morning hours. I can't imagine
Yeah, that's very sad.
looking for her son.
Right. So as far as the Innocence program and um what's going on with the case, do we have action at like having the case heard and making some things happen? Where does he stand right now with the case?
Right now, it's still pending. But what he's actually doing is he's doing a lot of the research on his own.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of what they say public pretenders that step in
Right.
for you. But one thing about him is, he's hit the prison library, the law library on his own to do his own research. So he's basically fighting his own case.
Right.
And, I would say it looks good, especially from the sense that the officer has been found to be not a credible officer. He is a crooked cop. It's already been proven, so I can say that. So, that looks good in his favor. That's the only reason why we couldn't bring him on. We don't want any type of anything that might get in the way of, proving that he's innocent and, hopefully releasing him sometime soon.
Right. Right.
But if you was to
go
look
ahead.
him up, Google him, look him up. There's actually articles that's speaking about this. So, if anybody want to do their own research, there's actually articles. You can see his whole story on YouTube if you just look it up, and maybe later on we can have DD to, put it in the link.
Okay, I think we have him back, Angela.
Okay, great.
Hello?
Okay. Are you there?
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm here.
Yes,
Can
sir.
y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, the reception is kind of sucked. But
Okay.
we left off there. We was talking about the aggressive raid, right?
Right.
Okay. After they launched the aggressive raid on these residents in the community, they left a card for LA Meech to come down and talk to the officers. So once LA Meech surrendered himself to the police station to talk to him, and he was unable to provide them information or facts about the case, that's when all hell went loose. It just went sideways. They arrested him and charged him with the murder because he knew nothing about the murder. He was never there. He was never present. Like I said, nobody was able to put him at the crime scene. Nothing. It was just all built on this one false witness that was in a lot of trouble with the law. And her trouble with the law was this: she was on probation in 1995 for a petty theft with a prior. She was placed on probation for 5 years. She turned around and caught a case in 1996. Around the same time, they arrested LA Meech for the murder. They kept that from the courts. They denied all charges and all that, which recently came out with a letter that the California Innocence Project had discovered, a letter of leniency that on which we thought the homicide captain wrote, but it ended up coming out that the homicide captain knew nothing about it. Once the attorneys contacted the captain about the letter, he said he didn't write no letter. He didn't know what they was talking about. The letter was faxed over to the homicide captain. The leading detective, Detective Lunafield, ended up coming back writing a declaration saying that he's the one that composed the letter, and Captain Muro signed off on the letter. So that right there in itself, in the attorney eyes and the court eyes, oh, you set this whole thing up. So everything has been coming out since then. In terms of the trial, they brought this issue up about her receiving a deal, but once the district attorney alluded to the courts that no deal of
Yeah, we lost him again.
Wow, it's a lot to this story.
Yeah. In the meantime, before he gets back, Angela, can you tell us about okay, yeah, there's the link to his story, people. If you want to look it up, it's on YouTube right there. That is the link that DD just posted. So look that link up right there. But in the meantime, while we're waiting on him to come back, Angela, can you tell us though, I was gonna ask him, but I ask you since we have some downtime, he's been gone 25 years, 26 years, but he hasn't been just sitting there and just, he's been doing a lot of things, productive things, a lot of great things.
Right.
Can you tell us about some of the things he's been doing and that he's doing now still?
So he has a few companies out. One of them is LA Meech Apparel. And LA Meech Apparel consists of shirts, jackets, caps, hats, even down to children's clothes. Since he's been down, he's wrote several books. He's actually wrote 7 books, and out of those 7, one is published, and it's through Stony Boy Entertainment. If you go on Lunel, if anybody's familiar with the comedian Lunel, if you go on her page, she's actually holding up one of his books. So she's a supporter of his, and he started a young children's foundation also while he's in there. So he's done a lot. He's not just sitting down having any idle time, right. That along with fighting for himself, to get out. So he's not idle at all. And you can check out his clothing at www.lameechapparel.com.
There it is. Trying to play something else.
One of his books, I believe the one that is published, is called Deep in These Streets. So it's definitely a good read. You can actually, if you wanted to find him, go on to, Instagram. It's Free LA Meech. And you'll see a lot of his, clothing, his book lines, and Stony Boy Entertainment. You can find that there.
Stony Boy Entertainment. So, what's with the as far as the books are great though. People go check out those books. But as far as the entertainment, what do we have going on with the entertainment? I think we have them back. Let me see.
Oh, good.
You there?
Yeah, I can barely hear y'all. It's like
Eric,
it's going in and out.
Yeah, just checking in with you, Eric.
Can you hear me?
See.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Eric.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear me. Damn. Well. Yeah, we lost him again. Okay. Well,
hopefully he'll come back soon.
Hello?
Yo, we got you.
He really has a
Can you
great
hear me?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, there he is. All right. There we go. All right.
So we actually spoke a little bit about, what you've been doing with your time. We talked a little bit about Stony Boy Entertainment and the fact that you have 7 books out. One has been published under Stony Boy Entertainment. And also you have a clothing line. Yes. So it hasn't been idle time. And that accompanied with doing your own research, trying to free yourself. That was some of the topics that we talked about in your absence.
Okay, I can walk y'all through a little bit of this, right? The entertainment part comes from, me being a young kid growing up in South Central LA, and music always been a big part of our life, the Black community, right? So my dreams was an aspiring rapper. So since they stripped that from him, they stripped that from LA Meech and put him in prison, it left him no choice but to start getting more creative and start putting those books together and poems and stuff like that. And it kind of like kept his mind fresh and kept him, going and motivated and not losing himself within the system, right? Which I'm sure that's what they wanted him to do, going there and just give up on himself and just completely lose focus of his dreams and his ambitions. So he was able to go in there and put together around like 7 or 8 books from my understanding. And he was able to build a clothing brand. And the clothing brand stems from, just growing up being poor and, appreciating the little things that moms was able to do for you and get for you, being able to keep it clean and keep it up. And then, fashion is always, a big part of the community. So I put together Meech Apparel with umbrella additions, such as Cali Dreamin', which stem from a song I worked with one of my best friends with. They came out with a Cali Dreamin' song. It kind of hit real hard. I think we forward that song over to y'all. So that's where the Cali Dreamin' edition of Meech Apparel come from. And then Hood Issues come from one of the novels that was written by him. The first novel that was dropped to deter kids from gangs, right? And try to give them the harsh reality of the street life and just, give them a different direction. I would say about 13 or 14, when Meech was growing up, an older compeer had put a crack cocaine sack in his hand and introduced him to the lifestyle of hustling. And today, LA Meech want to change that narrative. Instead of handing these kids a drug sack or a pistol and having them going to put in work, he'd rather hand them a vision or rather hand them an opportunity, and just do something more constructive with their time other than, tearing down our community, And that was his whole point of just putting all this together to be able to make amends with the community and kind of like balance out the wrong that was committed throughout his young youth life throughout the community, that I once played a part in helping destroy and, kind of tear down, the embarrassment that he brought to his mom, his family. Because, initially when we was born, our parents gave us a name with so much meaning and significance to it. And then we get caught up in these streets and we take on other names and kind of like don't identify with our parents. And that's like the ultimate disrespect. So when he wanted to reclaim his name, he went back to Meech and reclaimed Meech, the name that his mom gave him. And that's why we have Meech Apparel. And it's so important for people to support the brand because what it does, it creates conversation around his name. So the first thing, if you threw on a t-shirt, the person, Meech, who is that? So that conversation gonna come about, and then you'll know his struggle, his circumstances, where he at, what he been through. It just opens up conversation.
Right. So do you think if it was a 20-year-old Caucasian young man, do you think the circumstances would have been the same?
I can't hear you. Can you repeat that for me, LaLa?
So if
You was going
this
in
was
and out.
hypothetically a 20-year-old, could you hear me? If this was hypothetically a
A
20-year-old
little bit.
young
You going?
Caucasian man,
She said
can
if
you
this
hear me?
was
Do
a
you think?
Caucasian
Do you
dude,
think?
she said if you think of this as a white man opposed to you being a young black man, would it be the same consequences?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that if we scrutinize the 13th Amendment, right? If we look at that closely, and in reality, the people thought that they was fighting to do away with slavery, right? When really the United States was only setting up a new form of slavery system. And that was once we came out of chain, they put us in cuffs, meaning that
Mm.
the 13th Amendment clearly states that slavery is prohibited except those of a prisoner, right? Meaning that if they put me in prison for a crime and they able to give me slave wages, they able to treat me as a slave, right? Legally, legally, right? So in this case, I'm gonna break another aspect down. In this case, if you look at the case and the fact of this case, they broke the Constitution and went outside the Constitution to sustain a legal conviction. And why I say that, okay, it's a term called a Brady violation in law. And a Brady violation is when there's favorable evidence to the defense that the prosecution or the detective is supposed to turn over. And in LA Meech case, that was that letter that we know now that the leading detective wrote and not the homicide captain. He wrote that letter asking the courts to give leniency in this girl case so that she could testify against him and go scot-free. Now that evidence was supposed to have been disclosed because now that provides LA Meech defense attorney with a different defense strategy because now it don't look like you just an upstanding member doing your civic duty. You're coming in here because you have an ulterior motive. You have a reason for coming in here to tell a lie because you're getting something out of that. That information was withheld. Now, in understanding that fact, let's go back to this 13th Amendment. Remember, the 13th Amendment, it clearly states slavery is prohibited except those of a prisoner. Now, we just shared the facts of L.A. Meech's case. Now, we take those facts. Now, we know for a fact that the homicide captain and the prosecution went outside their constitution to sustain a legal conviction. So, in understanding this 13th Amendment, is it fair to say that they forced L.A. Meech into slavery?
It's safe to say that. Sounds like it to me.
Yeah, me too.
Being held captive.
I can't hear you
over
say that again.
26
Yes,
years.
we agree.
Being held captive for over 26 years.
26
So,
years, right? So
yes.
there's no way that this same treatment would have been extended to a little white kid, because if we go back a little further to the Dred Scott law, they consider blacks 3/5 of a human being. So
Wow.
L.A. Meech don't have the same rights as little white Johnny does, right? Because the Constitution wasn't constituted for guys like L.A. Meech, for guys
Right.
like G. You know, like it could happen to any one of us, any one of our kids, any one of our family, our friends, our loved ones. But today, though, people is tired of this system and they see it for what it is, right? And it's been a big money maker for years. So as the more years they pile on you, the more money they make. They got people like y'all too right here paying taxes to keep L.A. Meech legally enslaved, right? Legally enslaved. They got you paying taxes to keep that man in jail, to keep him in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Remember, when you go on trial for a crime, it's certain elements that they have to have, which is factual, not lies, not just no one witness, not they never even set up a crime scene in his case. There was no crime scene never even set up. They came back 2 weeks later after the victim passed trying to set up a crime scene, right? There was no crime scene never set up. She was never there, able to identify L.A. Meech, and no six-pack photo lineups, which were 3 was shown. They show him a single photo in 1994 when he got arrested for marijuana, a marijuana charge. This man has no violence nowhere on his record. He has no violence, but yet and still they charged him with a heinous crime like this.
Wow. So do you think it's easy for the police officers to pin someone? Like, is their focus more to solve the crime or just to arrest someone?
We breaking up again. I can't hear you. Okay, let's try it again.
Okay. So do you think it's easier for the police officers just to pin something on one or figure out what actually happened?
One more time.
She said, do you think it's easier, or do you think the police get down this way, as far as like, is it easier for them just to pin you with, like, really just like, say, get anyone, or like you just pin the crime, make the crime stick and make the case stick, find you guilty, opposed to really finding who really did it or really solving the real crime?
I couldn't really make out the whole question, right? Because it was going in and out.
Okay.
One more time, LaLa.
Do you think, Eric, that it's easier for the police officers to just make a case, to pin it on someone, or to actually solve that case? Which one is the concern of the officers? To actually find out who did it, or to make a case and pin it on someone?
Come
I don't
again?
think he heard you. She just said, do you think it's easier for do you think the police just rather just pin the case on anyone, like right now how the case is on you, dead case, we got him already found guilty, whatever, opposed to really finding out who really did it or solving the case for real? Or is it easier for them just to pin it on somebody? Damn, we lost him.
Oh.
Wow.
Thank you for the donation. And thank you, Ricky McPhee, for giving me that compliment. I appreciate that.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah, it's very rigged, DD. It is definitely rigged. I think the way that it is now, I think officers, I don't know if it's because they're overworked, and I don't want to give them a way out, but I'm not sure
Right.
what it is, why they're actually, not really focusing on solving the
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
yes.
Can y'all hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
sound
sir.
crystal clear right now. We sound
Yes.
crystal clear right now.
Oh,
Okay,
good,
we good.
good.
Okay, go ahead, LaLa, with the
Okay.
question again.
So my question to you, Eric, do you think it's easier for the police to pin a case on someone or to actually solve a case?
Okay, in my personal experience in dealing with these savages, I put it like that, these savages, right? They don't care about the perpetrators. And in my experience, is like I say, it's all about, who they want to fit the criteria for this crime, and not who's supposed to fit the criteria for this crime. And I'll say this, I'm gonna base this on the fact, if you paid attention to any where there was DNA involved, you would still have the prosecution or the detective saying, we still believe he did it. But they will have DNA evidence that exonerates this person and points to the individual that did this crime, can be sitting in prison right now for the same type of crime, and they'll still be sitting here saying, no, he did it. I don't care what that DNA say, right? They don't even trust their own evidence, right?
Right.
So I think it comes down to who they want. And reason why we believe L.A. Meech was targeted for this, L.A. Meech was young, he was black, he was a drug dealer, and he was a gang member. So all those elements right there fit their profile to say, hey, you know what? This the guy we're gonna get right here. Once they heard that, because they came out, they went door to door asking neighbors, like, who might have committed this crime? Do y'all know? And one of the neighbors said clearly, he said, ask Meech, he be out here all type of nights selling cocaine and weed. So once they heard them words, they said, okay, here's our man right here. We don't have to do no evidence. We don't have to look further. They had a named suspect to put this shit on.
Right. So you know what? On another note, I wanted to ask, how did the Innocence Project pick up his case? How did they actually get involved with his case?
Good question.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
How did the Innocence Project find out about his case?
Damn, it's breaking up.
She said the Innocence Project. How did the Innocence Project get involved with this case?
Okay, the Innocent Project got involved with the case. I want to say around 2008, 2009. He told us that they had wrote him because they was going back in the files, all the things that was going down there in Los.
Damn, we lost the homie.
Oh, this signal. Oh, I can't wait
it's
to hear
getting
what you
good.
have to say.
It's coming in and out, but people, gotta bear with us, people. But
We're
I
gonna
know
definitely have to have a part 2 to this, because
shit is
there's
getting
a
good.
lot.
Yes, and it gets better by the minute. Free the homie L.A.
Right.
Meech once again.
LA
got
Meech
the homie
saga.
Eric, the saga. Yeah, we got the homie Eric here speaking on his behalf, and we have him back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay, to the question, it was around 2008, 2009, to my belief, that the California Innocent Project was going back into cases based on all this corruption that was going on down in LA. And new technology had developed, and they was able to, look at DNA evidence based on, it was supposed to have been a fight between these 3 black male individuals. And once they reviewed the case, they saw how messed up the case was. So they went out to the witness in the case, which I won't say her name because I don't want to jeopardize nobody and nothing to come back on my boy. So we're going to leave her name anonymous. We'll just leave it at Jane Doe again, right? So Jane Doe, they went to go visit Jane Doe. Some clinical interns and a couple of staff from the California Innocence Project. When they went to go visit her, It's a 2-page memo that was typed up from that interview. Off the top, she said, "Tell him I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I was in trouble with the law." That's what made California Innocence Project start digging into her criminal past. Once they seen that she was in trouble with the law, now it was about going to the archives and the records and seeing what happened in that 1995 case. As we all know, when you get placed on probation, they give you what they call it's called like terms and conditions. They give you terms and conditions. So in 1995, when they put her on probation, her terms and conditions were you're not to come in contact with the police, you're not to come in contact with the law, you abide by the law. If you do, you go to jail for this 5 years. So when 1996 came and she called it.
That's a good point, Shaki.
Yeah. And we lost him again.
Lost him again.
It's going in and out. Let me see. Here we go.
I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everybody's wondering, how did she get out of jail if she caught a new case in 96 for the 95 case? Who got her out of jail? Guess who? The detectives got her out. Because in theory, she was supposed to be testifying in 1996 from a prison cell because you have a 5-year violation hanging over your head, right? So once she expressed her troubles, they went to start digging, and that's when they found the letter. The lady at the archive said, "Hey, this is what they did to Meech right here. We have a letter. It's called a letter of consideration. When a police officer, a DA, or any authoritative figure write a letter on a snitch or a witness behalf, it's called a letter of consideration." So the letter of consideration was written. They found the letter. They wouldn't give us the letter. We had to go to the courts. In 2016, exactly 20 years after L.A. Meech was convicted, the judge granted it. We got the letter, and then we was able to go to the courts and draft this letter in a petition asking to relieve him from his suffering, because this is a wrongful conviction. It's called a tainted conviction, and the conviction cannot stand based on all these facts when presented to the jury, right? Which they never gave L.A. Meech no relief in the state court. So what happened was, he ended up, the family friends, they came together, ended up hiring a post-conviction attorney named Ian Graham. And Ian Graham filed the petition. And when he filed the petition to his trial court, he filed a federal petition to the federal courts to stop the clock. Just in case the state court don't give him no relief, we can always go to state court to resolve this issue, because a Brady violation is actually a federal issue. That's a granddad. It's what you call a granddaddy case. The case stemmed back, a Brady violation stemmed back all the way to 1993, when they first discovered this type of foul play from prosecution and detectives and stuff like that. So once he filed the petition, and he had Demetrius file the petition pro per, because in pro per they give you more leniency based on you pro per. You know, you don't have
pro per. That means you're representing yourself, right?
Representing yourself. Absolutely right. Thank you for clarifying that for the people, G.
Yes, sir.
And that's why we're here. That's why we're here, to work together and help the people understand what is going on with our people, you know, and how our people get screwed in these situations. So once they went to the federal courts, they treated the motion to stay as a writ of habeas corpus, denied him, threw him out of court. So now he's stuck to fend for himself. So he did what you call a COA to the Ninth Circuit, which is over the district courts, the federal courts that threw him out. You know, you have 3 federal courts and you have 3 state courts. In state court, you got the trial court, the courts of appeal, and then you have the California Supreme Court. All of them rejected his claim, never even answered it. They just held it and rubber stamped it. The rubber stamp is basically, they just put denial on there and don't tell you no reason why. They don't even give you a reason why, because you can't go back and forth with the points and authorities. So we know that was bogus off the top. So we get to the district court, which is federal court. You got the district court, that's the first court. The second court is the Ninth Circuit. And then the third court you have the United States Supreme. So they rejected him in the district court, procedurally barred him, said he waited too long to use the evidence, which we know they can't procedurally bar you on an actual innocence claim. That's unheard of. They have to entertain it. So he filed the COA and pro per in the Ninth Circuit. They granted it. Once they granted it, then we went and seek more counsel and had another federal attorney step in and represent him in the Ninth Circuit. That's the clip y'all have on YouTube when they had that hearing on LA Meech's 45th birthday, which they won. They reversed and remanded the case back down, making them hear the Brady violation, and they rejected her actual recantation. They rejected that because, you know, the recantation is viewed with suspicions, and then they always take the strongest aspect of the case, which is the Brady violation, because you can't dispute that. You know what I mean? You can't dispute that versus her recanting. She might be recanting for all sorts of reasons in their terms, but a Brady violation, like I say, that's the strongest aspect of the case, and that's what the Ninth Circuit went with. So they remanded the case back down to the district courts, making them hear that Brady violation, and that's what we waiting on today, for them to hear that Brady violation. We over a year in waiting on a decision. So that decision should come back soon. Hopefully within the next 6-7 months, hopefully, you know, but they dragging it out.
But you really got action, and we're gonna just speak this in existence. But let me ask you this, Eric, for the homie, if the homie say like this gets granted, or if everything works, which we're praying it does, after 26 years, man, you know, since the 90s, man, you know, we're in 2022. What do you think the homie Meech can I already know he has businesses and things going on, but coming out here after 26 years, how do you think he will feel about that? Like adapt and everything going on right now in 2022. It's a lot of shit going on out here.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It's like we going in and out again.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to add to what's going on behalf of Meech? Yeah, I think the signal is a little bad. He's giving us a lot of good information though, regardless.
Yes, he is. This is a great interview. Yes, he had to sit down. I just want to ask him, like, what would the homie do when when he's ready to, like, when this happens, you know what I mean? And
right.
ready to come home, you know,
he sounds like an activist.
Right.
He sounds like an activist. So, you know, hopefully he'll use his platform. I'm pretty sure he is, to help uplift other brothers, you know, that's in there wrongfully.
All right, are we back?
With music, you got it. We back.
We back.
Can y'all hear me?
Back. Yes, sir.
We back.
Yes, sir.
And we go. Now, G, I couldn't hear your question, G. Can you run that by us again?
Okay, I was saying for the homie, like when all this happens, because we're gonna talk it into existence. But when all this happens, you know, hopefully sooner than later. For sure.
It's still breaking up. Damn. It's still breaking up, and you're not even on there, G. I can only see LaLa. It's still breaking up.
Okay. Well, go ahead, LaLa. You go ahead, LaLa.
So what G was asking was if he's ever talked to you and told you what his plans are once he is released, because we're going to speak this into existence. What kind of plans has he talked to you about once he is released?
Okay. This is his foolproof plan, because, you know, he pitched his ideals out here to us, the family, the friends. You know, we all helping him. You know, whatever we can do for him, we help you. So when he pitched his plan in 2016, he didn't know if he would ever get out of prison. This was the letter that he wrote his nephew, Jonathan Player. Shout out to Jonathan Player, man. That's like one of his biggest supporters, right? Now, he pitched his ideals to Jonathan Player, and he never wanted no money. He never said nothing. He never talked about the proceeds or nothing. His only goal was like, man, y'all got to help them kids, right? From going through what he went through, right? His broader picture is being able to create a Smart Kid Meech Foundation. That's one of the brands, right? And he want to tie that Smart Kid Meech Foundation. He want to tie that to children's books to get these kids involved in reading at a young age. He want to build a printing facility where like we bring the kids in and teach them a vocational trade, and we teach them life skills. We teach them development. We teach them all, because it stems from just life, being able to have the right tools, right? I know my mom, she gave me all the right tools, but I chose to do whatever it was I wanted to do, right? At the end of the day, she did her part.
Right. Facts.
Right. So, do you think the LA Meech campaign has brought awareness to the situation?
Hold on one second.
Okay.
What up, everyone tuning into the show right now? We're conducting an interview about the homie L.A. Meech. Eric speaking on behalf of L.A. Meech, been incarcerated 26 years. We're trying to free him now. So we're talking about his story, his testimony, everything that's going on, past, present, future. And that's what we're doing now. So shout out to everyone who just tapped in to After Hours with G-Lew in Longbeach, LaLa.
Again, thanks for
We
having
kind of
me.
breaking up a little bit. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where was we at?
Well, I asked the question,
La.
do you think the LA Meech campaign has brought awareness to this situation? Has it played a part?
Absolutely. And just today with this interview with LaLa and G, this is opening up his case, his circumstances. It's opening up right now today. We creating this positive energy. We able to fulfill the people in on what's going on the facts that they not aware of, because these people have suppressed these facts. So of course it's working. It's working right now. We reaching people right now.
Right.
So absolutely.
Nice. We're definitely gonna have to have a part 2 on this. I know there's a lot more that you may want to share, but is there anything you want to speak about as far as Stony Boy Entertainment or
let's talk about some of your books,
unpublished?
all these things you got. Oh, he can't even hear me. Go ahead, LaLa. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, G. G,
Oh,
I
you
can hear
me
you.
now? Oh,
I can hear you, G. Come on with it, G.
Okay, now I was saying we got to speak about some of these things you got going on, man. You got books out there. You got the apparel, all these things you guys have going on as far as the companies and things. Can you let the people know where they could tap into all these things at, bro? Because you guys have some great stuff out there.
Okay. In terms of the Hood issue book, his first release that was released on his mom's birthday, you can find that book on Amazon. And there's a link to that. I think we sent it over to LaLa and DD. Did y'all receive the link?
Yes.
For the Hood Issues book?
Yes.
Put that link up, DD.
You can find that there.
DD's gonna put the link up.
We can drop that up. We could drop that link right there for him. And also you can purchase the book directly from him at his website. And also with the close, the website is http:// Meech Apparel, MEechApparel.GoDaddy.com.
Nice.
You can find all the apparel and needs there.
Yep, we got the link up there now. And pop-up stores. We have any pop-up stores, they ask? Oh, we lost him again. I was gonna ask him about the book too. I wanted to play that
Yeah.
clip that we have, but I can't bring it up. But where can they get the book at, LaLa, if people want to get the book?
So right now, I believe he said it's on Amazon, but you can also go to his page on Instagram, Free LA Meech.
Okay.
And I believe the information is in there.
Okay.
And also, DD posted something in the comments, his website in the comments.
Yeah, we got that right there. Can you hear me?
And as far as the entertainment, thing go, we haven't fully built that vision yet. But we did, since he's independent, we did attach Stony Boy Entertainment Presents on his books, because we're gonna drop all his books, movies, and music. We're gonna drop that all up under Stony Boy Entertainment. And he's moving to widen his vision. He got a lot of self-help books in terms of screenplays and movies and stuff like that. The most recent effort he made into turning Hood Issues into a movie, where he has Young Music. I don't know if y'all familiar with Young Music, but he's a singer-songwriter. Young Music been a big help, a big influence on helping free LA Meech. Also Keisha Kelly as well, from the Keisha Kelly Kickback Show. That's his childhood friend. They grew up together from the Sandbox. Those great people are helping him as well, helping bring his vision to light in terms of the movies and all that stuff right there. And all.
I can't wait to actually, have LA Meech free, and we do a one-on-one, 2-on-1 interview with him in person. That would be nice.
Right.
Looking forward to that.
So I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one of the books I know he would want me to share, because it's like one of his favorite books. It's called The Rewrite by Paul Chicklick. He teach film school at La Jolla University. And in this book right here, it shows you how to basically structure screenplays and stuff like that. That's where he wrote his first screenplay from. Learning from him, he's one of the best in the game. And in that screenplay writing and learning how to do that, he was able to build some structure and dialogue for the parents and kids, in terms of, I don't want
to. Like I said, people, you got to bear with us, under the circumstances, you know what I mean? But I'm
sure everybody learned a lot so far.
Yeah.
In this interview, I've learned a lot about, how the law actually works.
Right.
I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. In that screenplay, he was able to build a lot of dialogue in that screenplay, in terms of, I don't want to spoil a book for y'all, but it's some pivotal moments in this book, because the book comes down to choices. As we all know, choices and consequences go hand in hand. Every bad choice we make, it brings us pain beyond belief. And every right choice that we make, it brings us prosperity, right? So in this book, the guy made a lot of bad choices, right? He came from a 2-parent home, et cetera, which most of us inner city kids, we don't have that. We either get 1 parent, no parent. We lucky if we get 2. And he was able to have 2 parents, and all that stemmed from him not wanting to obey by these rules and live in this house. So all that he went through, like I said, I don't really want to spoil the book. It's certain sections of that screenplay to where it asks you, describe who your character is without telling us who he is. And in that point, I'm gonna use this point of that screenplay, because we know that Jake Nelson, he wasn't a gang member. He stayed in Hawthorne, California. So when he crossed over into South Central LA and chasing this little female, he wanted to be like her brothers was. He wanted to be a part of that. And he basically wanted to trade his lifestyle for this lifestyle because it looks good. You know, that shiny, it looks good on the outside, but really once you get in, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. So in this section of the screenplay, we develop questions such as, I sit down with a couple of school teachers, Keisha Kelly being one, Sandra Taylor being another one, another childhood friend I grew up with, and we was able to build some questions like, for instance, the parents, why do you put your kids on punishment? Because he didn't want to obey these rules. And the child, how did you feel when your mom put you on punishment? And we know we only do these certain things to protect them, right? And certain kids don't get it. Some have to go through, their own trials and tribulations to get it. And I was one of them. It was like, no matter how much, my parents laid down for me. I had two parents. Eric had two parents. Meech didn't have two parents. But it's like, once again, being able to get those right tools, and the right tools is going to help you sustain, even if you had to come back and grab it, which I'm sure Meech did. He came back and grabbed everything that his mom told him, even when she told him, hey, it's a price on this. What you're doing right now, you might think you're getting away with it. You're not getting away with that. It's a price on that. And he accepted the fact that he understand why he here, even though he didn't commit this crime. It was other elements that he did or called, and it came back to hunt him later on in life, and he's paying that price. But do he have to pay the price with the rest of his life sitting in prison? No.
Right. And speaking of books, I noticed on his page there was celebrity actually holding his books. Do you know if he has any celebrity backing, that's actually supporting him with his books or with the movement?
Well, yes, he has Young Music. Big Percy shot him out. Linnell, the comedian, shot him out. He has a few celebrity sponsors. Andre Hammonds from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. He shouted him out. He invited Meech to a few events. Meech and the family done invited him out to events, and they all did support letters and stuff for him. Everybody is pretty much working to bring him home. They feel like, whatever the case was, because everybody don't know the clear facts of the case. They only know what was presented in the news. And, the news had a tendency to destroy a person, with these images and they truths, right? And like we always say, the streets know the truth. The streets know the truth, and then these courts, they make their own truth. These detectives, they make their own truth and build these cases to fit their truths, right? And like I say, whatever the case is, everybody is stepping in saying, at bare minimum, he's showing us something that we haven't seen before. This man had his life taken from him, and he's still pushing to freedom. He's still able to build his thoughts. He's still able to push out his vision. He's still able to, not go stale and just not accept what happened to him. And, my granny used to always say, when people see you trying to help yourself, they don't mind helping you. And I think that's exactly what's going on. It's a lot of people in the free world, myself included. You know what I mean? I say I'm gonna do this. I'm saying I'm doing that, and I don't never get around to doing it. But it's this guy that's sitting in his prison cell that's actually making a difference.
Right.
So it's like, how do you not salute him? How do you not get involved? How do you not help him? You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, whatever you want to believe, you know what I'm saying? How do you not help this individual?
Right. Good point. Very well said. Wow, we got a lot of good things in tonight.
Say that again, Lon?
I said great points and very well said.
I appreciate that. I got to do the best I can. I got to do the best I can for my man that can't do it for himself, right?
Right.
Hey, so more on the book briefly. I want to speak more on the book. So the book is obviously a story that you just broke down, so it's obviously fictional. Do you plan? Does the crew, the homie, plan on You guys have any plans on maybe doing an autobiography or anything like in that nature?
Great question.
I can't hear you. You was breaking up, G.
Do you
What?
guys plan
Try
on
to say it
doing any?
again, G.
I said obviously this book right here is a well-written book and it's pretty much fictional. Do you guys have any plans on doing an autobiography for the homie LA Meech?
We still having trouble. LaLa went out. Okay, try it again. Let's see if I can
Uh
hear you this time.
as far as the books after this book, which is a fictional book, I assume, do you have any plans on
No,
doing a book for LA Meech,
no.
like an autobiography book, a nonfiction book?
I, I
Can't hear me. Yeah. See if you could do it, LaLa.
Yeah, actually, I see where the signal is out. Could you hear me, Eric?
Yeah, the
Eric,
signal's
it
out.
shows on my end that the signal is
Okay,
bad.
let me see. There he is.
Out.
Let me see. He got another one. Let me see.
Oh, he might be back.
Are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
sir.
we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, a little bit. We still going in and out.
A little bit going in and out. Okay.
Yeah, we still going in and out.
We apologize again for the
Can you
bad
hear me?
connection. Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, what was it again? What was the question again, G?
Well, LaLa, tell him the question, LaLa.
We were talking about the book, being a nice
Oh
book.
yeah.
We're not sure if it's fictional or not, or if it's based on the facts. But is there any plans of him, trying to incorporate that, make it into a movie? And the signal is out again on this end.
Damn. Well, like I said, people, you got to bear with us, but we're still getting some great information tonight.
Very, very much so.
Let me see. Here we go. Hello.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I can hear y'all. Shoot it at me, G.
We were saying that, like, as far as the book, this last book was obviously fictional. I assume. Are there any plans on making a next or a book in the future that's like an autobiography for the homie LA Meech that tells his story?
Yes. We actually had a few discussions about that, right? And
Mhm.
we was leaning more towards the book as well as a documentary
Right.
because and like this right here, this footage right here can be implemented in a documentary as well, right?
Right.
And I think a documentary would suit his situation best, right? And even young music was talking about getting off into the documentary with his camera crew, and most recently they was talking about doing like a little commercial in terms of the vision that I expressed to you about him being able to create that printing facility in the setting for that. We wanted to do that commercial in the printing facility and maybe try to get his voice over that, right? But I
Mhm.
think a documentary would suit that situation best because it's so much to tell, and I don't think we can cram it all in a book. Maybe some of it, but it's kind of like lengthy, and the big thick books, people be like, man, that's a lot of damn read. So I think a documentary would suit that better.
Right. I agree.
Nice.
Go ahead, LaLa.
So I was gonna say we got a lot of good things in. We definitely plan on having a part 2, but is there anything that you wanted to add on his behalf before we wrap up tonight's show?
I just want to say, to the people out there, um, don't be blind to, what's going on with the system right now, and a lot of underhanded things. Like if we just look at today's time, with all the shootings amongst African Americans, like all those different circumstances, it's starting to be the truth. We starting to see the reality of things. Like they can't no longer lie to us about, even like my friend. They tried to bury him in his story, in his vision. Because once they get you in here, like you don't have no voice no more. And like today, we got people like G-Lew that have podcasts that's opening up opportunities for us to come on here and give the people our side of the story. Because for 26 years, we've been hearing this side of the story, and look at all the lies. I mean, these documents wasn't written by L.A. Meech. These is their documents. These is their story. You know what I mean? And it's holes punched all through it. And today we see the truth, just like in these shootings. You know what I'm saying? Like they sit here and said 20 years ago, 30 years ago, oh, little Johnny reached for my gun, and this is why we killed him. But today we see that, hey, little Johnny never reached for your gun. In fact, Johnny didn't even have a gun. Johnny took off running for whatever reason, and you shot him in the back, and you lied. So what we have here is the families not even being able to have the truth. Even in L.A. Meech's case, they got this man sitting in prison for a crime he didn't commit, but they got the family believing that this man did this, right? And the cases goes on and on. So my my wish for the people is to open up and do your own investigation. Look into it. If you got a loved one in there, it's so many people and organizations is open to hearing these cases now. Like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we couldn't get nobody to look at this case. Nobody, nobody. But today, people is more open to it because they see the system for what it is, and our system is broken. It's broken.
Yeah, definitely. We've been seeing that a lot in the last couple of years, all of us being shut in, and I think Caucasian, they can't actually deny, that this stuff is going on. We have no choice but to see it going on in the news.
What do you think about that? Just off the
Absolutely.
subject, but I want to ask LaLa, what do you think about that? What they passed today, the Senate or whatever, about the abortion thing, Roe versus Wade. Did you hear about that?
One thing that I don't do too much of is watch the news. If it doesn't come on
Right.
Facebook, but did they pass a bill? Basically, the only thing I kind of heard about it is they were trying to pass something where you cannot get an abortion.
They did.
Period. You have no choice, and they actually passed it.
Yes.
I think that is, I don't know. It's two sides, In the godly sense, I guess I'm pro that bill. But I just think it'd be a sad case if someone was raped, or
Yeah,
if
that's
it
what
was,
they're
say, a
saying. Stuff like that.
father, an
Right.
uncle, something like
But I
that.
would think,
Forced to have a
even
child.
though that is passed, right, it would still be, like you said, circumstances that maybe they could, like, you know what I mean, like they could help them, right?
Yeah,
Like you said, if they were
exceptions.
raped or stuff like that, like, come on, like,
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's definitely something to read. It has to be some type of clause in there.
right.
Um, yeah. I don't know. And did it say at any stage of the pregnancy,
They
or
just
is this
said,
a
I don't know where it's at with it, what stage and all that. They just said they just voted against it, like, uh,
just flat out voted against it?
and it's just a
No
done deal,
abortion.
and it's no abortion.
Wow.
What they did was they banned it, but they gave it back to the states, meaning it's not federal law anymore.
Okay.
So the states can do whatever they want, whatever state you're in,
Right.
if they choose. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Right.
most
Right.
of the states already have already gone with it and banned abortions, like in
Right.
8-9 states already. So we'll see.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I know
It's
that's off topic though.
definitely,
Uh,
yeah, it's
uh,
definitely controversial.
Yeah, it is. It is. But this right here is the most controversial interview of the year, and this is just part one. We're
Oh
speaking
yes.
about the homie L.A. Meech, and on his behalf, we have the homeboy Eric here. Anything else we need to add on this topic or this story tonight before we get into the next chapter of this thing when we do part 2?
Can't, I can't hear you.
Can't
You
hear.
can't hear? Can you hear
Hello?
me, Eric?
Yeah, I can hear you now a little bit.
Yeah, so we're about to go ahead and close it up for tonight so we can save a little bit for part 2, but is there anything else that you wanted to add? And I think the signal just went out again.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll
At least
just.
that's what I'm seeing on my end.
Yeah, it did. It went out, but he came back. We're gonna
Okay.
shut it down. Is he there? Okay, just get it in quick, LaLa.
Okay, I think we got Eric back really quick. We're about to
Yeah.
go ahead and close
Yes,
it
I'm
out
back.
for tonight because we want to save something for part 2. But is there any last words?
I want to thank everybody that's been supporting me, the brand, the movement, supporting Meech. I want to thank G-Lew. I want to thank LaLa for having me, DD, and just much appreciation to you guys, and keep doing what y'all do.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you, bro.
Thanks for taking the time.
I look forward to working with y'all on segment 2.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Likewise, man. Likewise, bro.
Mhm.
Much love to you. We're gonna
All
continue
the
to
time, bro.
push that line for you, bro, and get you home soon.
Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. All love.
Great
All
show.
right. Great
Great
show.
show.
Great show. Shout out to hold on. Great show. And shout out to Longbeach LaLa who definitely made it all happen. This has been in the works for some time now. We've been trying to put this together, so I'm glad we can make it happen finally. And like I said, this is only part 1. We're gonna continue this series with the homie, and we're gonna do whatever we can in our power to help the homie out and make sure he gets home. So
Right.
with that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Longbeach LaLa. You got a lot of love tonight too. A lot of people out there in the comments
I
for showing you
noticed, and
love.
I want to say I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody who was on Conversations, who actually shouted me out. And I apologize. I tried to respond, but I think at the moment the comments were cut off. So I definitely appreciate all the love and all the love that I got tonight. Thanks for having me on the show as a guest host. I enjoyed my time, and we got a lot of good stuff out there, you know. I'm rooting for LA Meech, you know, to come home. I just think it's a horrible situation that he's in, 26 years. And I know there's a lot of others. That's the most saddest thing about it is this is just one person that we're hearing about. You know,
Right.
there's thousands and thousands of
Yes,
people who
yes.
have basically the same story out there.
Yes, facts.
So
Facts.
appreciate all the love that I'm getting. You guys make sure you join me and DD tomorrow night for Conversations in the Hookah Lounge, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be talking about hot topics.
There it is. You have a special guest too. Shout out to the home, Monica.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have Monica tomorrow night. I can't wait to see her.
Yeah. So tune in, y'all. It's going down 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Longbeach LaLa, DD Hairston, special guest Monica, and
Yes.
there it is. You did a great job tonight, Longbeach LaLa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Shout out to the homie LA Meech.
Appreciate
The
the
homie LA
love.
Meech. Shout out to the homie Eric who stood in for him. Everybody who tuned in tonight, thank you for the love and support and all that you guys do. We can't do it without you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate all the love on the G-Lew
Yes.
show. After hours, G-Lew, Longbeach LaLa. Conversations in the Hookah Lounge tomorrow night. And with that being said, I guess we'll get up out of here.
All right.
All
Thanks
right,
for
good
having
evening,
me.
y'all.
Thanks for
Peace
being
and
here
love.
with us.
Yes. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love. We are out.
Out.
Peace.